Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to my indie game Striking Gold that I have been working on for the past couple of months. It has been about a month since my last devlog, and that is due to just being a little overwhelmed in real life with a few things. I did go on vacation and had some family come visit for a couple of weeks, so a few things got pushed back. That is why this devlog took a little bit longer to get out, but if you guys like what you see, if you guys are still enjoying the series and you have not wishlist Striking Gold on Steam yet, you can do that now, so please click the link down below and add it to the wishlist if you have not already. And if you have wishlisted it, thank you guys so much. For those of you that have, it honestly is going to help me out tremendously. You have no idea, and I appreciate everybody's support on this game so far. But yeah, this is Striking Gold, and I have some pretty exciting things that I have been working on, so make sure you guys stay tuned through the entire video for this devlog, because I have reworked a big part of this game into something that's just going to make it so much better than what it was previously. So make sure you guys, again, are watching all the way until the end, and let's get on into the devlog. So last time we were working on the miners actually chopping trees down, and now I'm just finishing that up, trying to make this a little bit better. So at the moment I've added the wood to the UI, as you can see up here. I kind of just split it away from the ores, so I put all the ores on the right side and then put the wood on the left. I'm not entirely sure if this is how it's going to remain, to be honest with you. I really need to reference some other games to see how they approach like UI and things like that. Might have like a drop down of all of the ores or something rather than just having them all displayed at the top. I don't know how I'm going to go about it, but for now it's good enough. So let's go ahead and place a miner and let me show you guys what I have been working on. So last time the miner would chop down the tree, that's nothing new, and then the logs would appear. You might notice that it's not actually adding anything to the top as far as the total wood, and that is because of the new building, the wood storage building. Now, this isn't nothing too crazy to show off. It's literally just a shelter for the wood storage to be. So the miner actually will take the wood to the storage. He's not at the moment because there wasn't a storage building down as he chopped the tree, so he's kind of a bit confused at the moment. I haven't programmed that, but this miner should know what to do. The storage is already there, so let's see, the tree falls down. Okay, let's speed it up. Logs appear. He doesn't actually pick up the logs, but you can see that he's actually moving towards the storage now, so you can pretty much just picture him carrying the logs to the storage, and then it kind of appears there in the storage, and then it adds it to the top as well. And another thing that I've actually added, which I think is pretty cool, is each storage building will show you how much wood it actually stores. So for example, if I place another storage, this one should tell me it has 0 stored within it, and then this one shows 7. So at the top there, it shows your overall wood that you have in total, but if you click on the individual storage buildings themselves, they obviously store a different amount, and then the miner will actually go to the closest available storage that it has available space in. So you can see here, this one has 8, and then the other one has 7, for a total of 15. So that's what I've been working on. I just now need to get the miner to actually pick the logs up and kind of carry them. Another thing that I want to show you is as the storage gets fuller in progression, it actually visually simulates that, as you can see. So at the moment I'm just adding wood with a button just to show you, but you can see the wood actually does grow in piles of storage, I guess I could say. So it actually simulates a full storage, which I think is actually pretty cool. It turned out relatively nice. I wasn't entirely sure how I was going to go about this, but I think it turned out honestly pretty nice. So as you get more wood in the storage, it will visually represent that, I guess. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of the wood storage. If there's anything I can improve upon this, let me know. But overall, I think it turned out pretty nice. It kind of makes sense to have a building for the wood to be stored. That way there's just not wood logs laying around everywhere and cluttered and just a mess. So definitely something that I think should be added, and it almost kind of gives me an idea of making a storage, some type of storage for the ores as well. Not too sure how I want to go about that, but I probably will end up adding something for the ores in the future. But for now, back to the miner to actually get him to carry these logs to the storage, and then I will show you what that looks like. I like to step away from game development every now and then just to keep my mind fresh, so these arcade machines are actually really cool. I can just walk over here and play a couple of these games and definitely get back onto track. And who knows, maybe one day I can actually get striking gold on one of these things. I have seen custom builds of these arcade machines. I think it'd be pretty cool to see my own game on one of these machines. So I've pretty much gotten this woodcutting for the miner completely functional now and pretty much working as I intended to. Now obviously I could probably find a few bugs if I just play tested it, but for the most part it's fully functional. There are a few small things that I'm going to work on off camera that I'm not necessarily going to show you, but it works. So the miner's going to chop down the tree, as you can see. Obviously we've seen all of this before. But now the miner actually picks the logs up. So I'm reusing the same animation from the dynamite, if you can recall that. So it worked pretty well. The miner will pick up the logs, carry them to the storage, and then kind of place them down. I'm fully aware, again, that these animations aren't perfect, but my whole approach to this game so far has to just been get something functional, make it look somewhat decent, and then come back later on to polish things up. So I'm super satisfied with how it turned out. You can obviously tell and see what the miner's doing, so it serves its purpose. So now you can now store all of the wood, and the miner will continuously flow and chop logs as long as there is some. Now, I've also added the ability for these buildings to actually subtract wood too as you place them. So again, buildings now cost coins and wood to actually build, to make it a little bit more difficult for the player. So as you can see here, I don't have enough wood to build anything, and it does not allow me to do so. Ignore those blue text up there. That's just a debug at the moment to tell me that, obviously there's not enough resources, but there will be some more indication for the player, like, hey, you don't have enough wood, you can't place this building, kind of thing. So everything's looking pretty good. I'm going to start working on the next thing, and we are going to be focusing on the miner this entire devlog probably. I am planning to completely rework the way he functions, and I will explain that in the future or in the next clip probably for you. So yeah, let me go ahead and show you what I'm going to be working on for this miner. So I've already mentioned that I've come up with an idea to rework the miner. But first of all, I want to tell you and explain just exactly how the miner functions now. And I really want to focus on the miner because obviously this is basically the core of the game, is the miner. So I really want to perfect this. And in its current stage, I don't know how I'm going to approach certain things, like having the player tell each miner what activity to do. So now there's various different things that the miner can obviously do. They can woodcut, they can mine surface ores, they can eventually mine in the tunnels, and they can pan from the rivers. Those are the current things that the miner can do, and there's probably going to be more in the future. So there needs to be a way for the player to tell each miner in the game what activity to do. And this can become super overwhelming if you have a bunch of different miners to try and tell each miner specifically what activity to do. And there's ways to go about it in its current form, like highlight and drag multiple buildings and say, hey, all of these miners go chop trees or whatnot. But my mind has been thinking a lot on how I can actually perfect this and make it feel a lot better. And I think I've come up with somewhat of a good idea that I really want to try to implement into the game and see how it functions. And if it's something that we don't enjoy, we can revert back to the old style. But I think for the most part, this new idea of mine is going to work a lot better, and I am going to explain to you exactly what that idea is, and I would love to hear your guys' feedback as always, and let me know what you guys think. So let's go ahead and talk about the new overwork for the miners. So the first thing that I want to do before I start reworking the miner is adding the main character to the game. At the moment, there is no main character, but as you can see here, I have a cabin that you are forced to place at the start of the game, and this is going to be your main character's home cabin, and you are forced to pick a spot for it, and then that is the character that is going to pretty much develop the mining town from the ground up. So you'll have full control over this character as far as the actions and what they are doing, and this is going to be the only character that you really have full control over. All the other ones are pretty much going to be self-efficient is basically the idea behind it. So here's the main cabin. This is going to be the main character. Obviously, I have to, change the appearance of the character to help kind of stand out from the rest of the miners, but essentially this character is going to be a miner. The only difference is it's going to be controlled by you rather than, being self-efficient by AI. So that's the idea behind it, and you can name your character and things and whatnot. So for the rest of the miners, you still have the ability to place the miners' tents, but now, as you can see, they now have a vacant sign over them rather than before the miners were automatically spawned as you place the building. That is no longer the case. They will remain vacant until you reach certain milestones in the town. So basically, once your town or your main character gains enough wealth, then miners will casually or randomly come into the town and fill up these vacant tents to actually start working. So as you can see, I just reached a milestone of $500, and a miner came into the town, filled that tent vacancy up, and now he lives in this tent, and he is going to go out and work and try to find his own gold or resources or whatnot to try to build up his own wealth. So each miner in the town now will have their own individual wealth that is separate from the town's wealth, and as their wealth goes up, their abilities and their properties will increase and level up over time individually. Now, the way I think I'm going to go about it is if a miner receives, let's say, an iron ore from a rock, the town is going to get a certain percentage based off of that ore, so you're not going to get the full value of it, because obviously the miner is going to keep the majority of it, but you as the claim holder of the land that he found it on, you do get a percentage of it, and that's how the town's overall wealth is going to go up. So I think I'm going to enjoy this a lot more, and let me know what you guys think, but that's pretty much the whole idea behind reworking the miners. So they're all self-efficient now, and they will level up on their own. Went back to the main character, started working on this so the player can have control over it. So I've added some buttons to the user interface for the player to tell his miner what to do. So there's a button for each task: panning, logging, and mining. So if you click these, obviously the miner will then go and do whatever task that you told him to do. So this actually brought up quite a few bugs as you told the miner what to do. Obviously, if he was currently mining and then he canceled out and Hal has to go woodcut, that brought up a bunch of bugs because my code wasn't meant to, kind of abruptly stop doing what he was doing and move on to the next thing. But I fixed all those issues, so now he will completely go on to the next task on whatever you tell him to do. So that completely works now. I do want to add another button. He's actually stuck right here. He's getting stuck right here. I don't even know why I have that on the map still. I need to delete all that, but the next thing that I want to start working on is the ability to have a button for you to kind of pan into your character. That way you can never lose him throughout the map. I don't know how I'm going to go about this just yet, but I am definitely going to start working on that. I think it's something that is needed. I've also changed the appearance. As you can see, he has a green shirt on, so this helps stand out from the rest of the miners. This will be the only miner that appears this way, so just ways to help differentiate your character from the other miners. So I actually started working on leveling up the miner's tent to the next tier of buildings. So I wasn't too sure how I was going to go about this, but it actually turned out fairly nice. So let me go ahead and show you. Let me place a couple of these miners' tents. So we have to fill up the vacancy of the tent, and then we also have to increase the value of that miner assigned to the tent. So luckily I can, skip through all of this with the code that I've implemented to kind of cheat my way through it. So there you go. The miner has achieved a new level up, and as you can see, it's changed into a miner's hut. And it only changed that one specific tent because that was the only one that actually increased in value. The other one is still vacant, so that one did not level up. And I'm not sure if the miner's hut that you see here is actually going to be the next building from the tent. This was just the building that I already had available, so that's the one I was using for testing, and it works. It turned out very nice. I even added up a little level up button there, so as you can see, I just leveled up the second tent as well. So each individual building will now level up on its own as the miner increases in the value. So yeah, the only other thing I would probably want to add is maybe some more animation or effects when it levels up, maybe some smoke or something to kind of simulate that the building just plopped there. I think that would look really nice, but other than that, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. I'll probably add one more level up to the building, and then as you level up the building, or the miners level up their buildings, it will make them, more efficient in certain aspects. Maybe their pickaxes are better, so they receive more ores, or they unlock new abilities, things like that. So there's a lot of things that I can add to these buildings now that they have the ability to level up. So turned out really good. Let me know what you guys think of this addition to the miners, and now I can, start working on some things like I just mentioned, leveling up another building and making them more efficient as they level up. So I've added a little icon for your character that you can click on here, and it will automatically take the camera to that player's position. And this is going to be super useful for, obviously, when the town is super cluttered, filled up with hundreds of NPCs and characters walking around, and you want to find your very specific miner. You can click on your cabin here, click on the little icon, and it will take you straight to him. Now this rock here is actually blocking the view of it, so I do got to fix that to change the camera angle when something's blocking the view. But it does work. It will take you to your character now, and this is super useful. It's going to be just a big quality of life thing for the player to be able to find their character if they kind of want to follow along with him and see what he's doing, kind of thing. So wasn't too difficult to implement, and it is definitely going to add a lot of quality of life. Just something that's super relatively small, but is going to change the game pretty significantly. I got some weird the vacant symbol is going a little crazy. I think it has something to do with me messing with the camera for this. But I should be able to fix that, as well as the camera being blocked by objects. Alright, I've fixed all the issues with the camera, so now that little vacant symbol's not bugged out anymore. And now, anything that is blocking the camera, it should change to a different angle if you're ever clicking on this little icon. So this way, at all times when you're clicking this, you should be able to see your character when it kind of zooms in on them. So super nice that turned out pretty good. It wasn't too difficult to implement, and now I can finally start working on more aspects of the miner. Probably going to go back to working on progressing the miner as they level up and things like that. But I think so far with the changes to the miner, it's actually changed the game a lot, and I'm really enjoying it. And I think it's going to add a little bit more challenges and rewarding of the player actually progressing through the game, rather than before you could just kind of spam a bunch of tents down and the miners would go to work. Now you really kind of have to work to actually progress, kind of thing, and you can watch as each miner progresses on its own and see how they progress differently. So I think this is going to be a pretty unique change to the game overall. Let me know what you guys think of this change. I really hope you guys are enjoying it as much as I am. I do not think I'm ever going to go back to the old style, so hopefully we get some positive feedback, but I'll leave that up to you guys. As always, though, I appreciate you guys watching all the way to the end. This is the end of devlog number 8, and hopefully I can get the next devlog out to you guys relatively soon. But thank you guys so much for watching, and again, please go wishlist Striking Gold on Steam if you have not already, and I will see you in the next one.